During the epilogue of the story, Knuckles is taking it easy, before one of the Egg Robos returns to the flying continent to seize the Master Emerald. Knuckles won't have it on his watch, so he acts as a one-man resistance against Eggman's invading army to secure the gem. Knuckles goes through the same stages as Sonic and Tails did, save for the Death Egg since it, exploded. His variation of these zones, however, are designed differently as they are more custom for Knuckles only. Additionally, some are shorter and omit boss fights. His campaign is undoubtedly the hardest, which is appropriate since he is the oldest of the trio, while Tails is the youngest, making his campaign the easiest, putting Sonic in the middle even challenge. Knuckles controls like Sonic, except for his speed and jumping height being inferior, but he compensates that for his brute strength, allowing him to access areas that Sonic and Tails can't. His ability to glide is useful for platforming, a bit odd since echidnas can't glide, but foxes can't fly and hedgehogs don't eat meat, so we'll let zoology slide. And lastly, he can use his sharp knuckles to cling to walls and scale on them like Spider-Man. Sonic 2 Locked On lets you play as Knuckles in that game. It's mostly the same, but Knuckles gets his own Gray Shield, and your ring count doesn't deplete after a special stage. Oh, and that Spike Pit in Mystic Cave Zone? BAM! You, Pit! His idle animations include tapping his foot like Sonic, punching the air, and looking at the player as if he's saying, "You're still there, right?" For his victory animation, he throws 2 punches and looks at the screen going, "Yeah, I just did that." His gold plate pick is so gangster. He holds up his fist, and the glare in his eyes basically says,
"The y'all looking at?"
With this, we have a balanced set of playable characters. The super fast Sonic, who can utilize the bonus powers of the elemental shields, the airborne Tails, who can fly and swim, making the Emerald Hunt a cinch, and the powerhouse Knuckles, who can glide and scale up walls. All 3 characters are a blast to play and bring something fresh to the table. Not only that, their personalities differ as well. Sonic is the carefree, but brave and compassionate youth. Tails is the humble and intelligent kid, and Knuckles is the honorable, stoic, older teenager. With their individual personalities, they feel more fleshed out and identifiable to the player, kind of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a way. Multiple playable characters has been out of the picture for too long. And yes, I am happy that Sonic Mania brought Tails and Knuckles back to the fold. Two-player competition is back, and instead of going from point A to point B in Sonic 2, 3 Knuckles has 3 lap races. There are much more options here. Grand Prix has 2 players racing in all 5 stages. Whoever wins at least 3 is the victor. Match races take you to only 1 stage, and back from CD, Time Attack records your best time in each level. Like in Super Smash Bros., items are optional. Instead of only 4 zones, 3 Knuckles has 5, and they're all original. The Serene Azure Lake, the Circus Heavy Balloon Park, the Industrial Chrome Gadget, the Oasis of Desert Palace, and the Underground Endless Mine. It's not confirmed, but these stages could be in Angel Island as they might be close to the ones in the story. Azure Lake with Ice Cap Zone thanks to the Snowy Mountains, Balloon Park with Carnival Night Zone, Chrome Gadget with Launch Base Zone, Desert Palace with Sandopolis Zone, and Endless Mine with Lava Reef Zone. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are on equal terms. Sonic can't use the Insta Shield or the Elemental Shields. Knuckles can't glide. Tails can't fly though, but that doesn't necessarily make him faster, so it gets a pass. And finally, nobody can go Super. A good thing too, since that made races in the second game completely one-sided, and messed Sonic up. I mean, look at him. In this game, it's a bare bones competition. Speaking of Super, along the way, Knuckles searches for all the Chaos Emeralds, which grant him the power of Super Knuckles. His fur shines a lighter saturation of red, he's invincible, his chest sprinkles sparks when running, and his speed, strength, and agility are all amplified. He definitely has the best transformation sequence. His hair goes all over the place, and he looks like he's roaring. After enhancing the jewels into Super Emeralds, he elevates to Hyper Knuckles, complete with an afterimage and his own exclusive ability, the Gliding Shockwave Attack. Gliding into a wall from a far distance causes a devastating impact that shakes the screen and destroys all nearby badniks. This is a sign that Sonic has earned Knuckles' respect. At first, he saw some punk who was misusing the emeralds, but in time, he saw his true colors. That punk turns out to be the Blue Warrior foretold in the island's prophecy, so it's likely that Knuckles would use the Chaos Emeralds the same way that Sonic did. Hyper Knuckles will mark the final documented use of the Super Emeralds. Takashi Iizuka stated that the Super Emeralds were meant to reward players who got the Chaos Emeralds in the unfinished Sonic 3. There was no need for the Super Emeralds to return after this, making this the only game to feature the ultimate forms of Team Sonic. Maybe they'll return for a future game. Until then, we'll have to wait and see. With 98% of Eggman's army demolished, Knuckles ends this for good. Knuckles catches up to Egg Robo in what's left of Sky Sanctuary Zone, where we see Angel Island in the background slowly descending, implying that the Master Emerald has once again been taken. Egg Robo arrives in a mobile to hold Knuckles steady for the repaired Mecha Sonic to deal the killing blow and... We have to see that again! Okay, that is straight up from an action movie where the hero looks like he's doomed, but with one swift move, he turns the tables on the bad guys. I freaking love that. He's playing helpless long enough for Mecha Sonic to strike, then quickly glides out of the way for the doppelganger to indirectly destroy Egg Robo. No, please, I'm so helpless, I can't possibly, psych! I officially declare this the most badass Knuckles moment. You know, this moment helps nullify the misconception that Knuckles is an inept moron. It's in this classic game where he outsmarted two of Eggman's best robots. Think about that. After that bit, Knuckles goes mano-a-mano with Mecha Sonic. After the Badnik's defeat, he resorts to absorbing power from the Master Emerald to take the elevated form of Super Mecha Sonic.
Bite my glorious golden ass!
This makes him the first villain to transform. Super Mecha Sonic is invincible, able to fly, and fires golden plasma orbs. Thank God he's not the Mecha Sonic from Super Mario Bros. Z. That would be mayhem.
I'll crush you!
As luck would have it, the effect is only temporary as he reverts to his normal form before going back to the Master Emerald to recharge. We see why nobody uses the Master Emerald to transform. While it can cancel out or empower the Chaos Emeralds, it can't replace them. When he briefly changes back to his normal form, that's when you attack. With Mecha Sonic defeated once and for all, Sky Sanctuary crumbles as Knuckles reclaims the Master Emerald. Sonic shows up in the nick of time to catch Knuckles, and the Echidna gives the Hedgehog a gesture of thanks. Some of you may be wondering why Sonic came back. Maybe Tails read another energy spike, Sonic had a hunch that Eggman will return, or he came back on a whim. Nonetheless, Knuckles returns the Master Emerald to its altar as the floating island ascends higher. Knuckles soars into outer space to give the player a cheery nod a la Superman, and so Sonic 3 and Knuckles comes to a rewarding close. To call Sonic 3 and Knuckles a fun game is an understatement. This is the culmination of what the earliest titles were building up to. An exhilarating, climactic finale where the characters are at their best, the darkest mysteries unravel, and the endings are tough to beat. It's not perfect though. Carnival Night and Sandopolis Zone can be a chore at times. The elemental shields are uneven since electrical floors are only in the final stage. And you never go underwater in the second half of the game, making the aqua shield a little obsolete. And lastly, the scenario with the Death Egg rising and falling to the earth was happening so often, it's on the verge of being a running gag. Still, they're all minor problems. Sonic 3 & Knuckles is a Genesis masterpiece that ends on a crowning high note. Sonic CD will always be my favorite of the classics, but I've gotta give props to 3 & Knuckles. It's arguably the best of the franchise, and I have no problem seeing why. And that's it. The end of the classic era.